on a knife I've had for probably 5 years. The Becker BK2. Here is what it looks like. I've put a little bit of like inner tube on there, a little tight rubber band, Ranger band, and then I've modified to where it's just got my own Velcro little thing to wrap up the blade if I want to keep it in, but this blade is in here so secure. That's the reason I opted for just this little flat piece to be able to grab the blade instead of a big old button up or whatever, because this blade is in there really good. That ain't coming out for nothing. The sheath is nice. It holds the knife very well, and I really like how tough it is and how well it holds. Don't really have a lot of complaints when it comes to the sheath. The knife itself, total beast mode. 1/4 inch thick. It is 10.5 inches altogether from handle to tip. It's a drop point. Its hardness is 56 to 58. The handle material is ultra mid. The blade material, and it goes all the way through the handle, full profile, full tang. It's 1095 Crovan, weighs 1 pound. The blade length is 5 1/4 inches. And now it says on the new ones that they're all flat ground. Mine was not, but I modified it and made it into a flat grind. I took off the secondary bevel here. As you can see, there's no secondary bevel now. Just go straight down into the blade. It's made it way sharper and way easier to sharpen. I love this knife. It is a beast. As you can see, I've taken off the finish here on this part of the blade when I was reprofiling. It just made it all one. You know, it looks cool as two-tone, I guess, but I've also narrowed down the handles. I took them off of here. I put them on my belt sander, sanded them down. I've sanded down the metal around the full profile, full tang part. I've added jimping at certain points. I added jimping here so your hand doesn't slide back. I had jimping up here so your hand doesn't slide forward. And I added jimping on the back, both back here and up here. I added jimping. That way, if you have your thumb here when you're holding, right, and you can feel your palm back here, grip that jimping a little bit. And so I made the handle smaller and grippier, and I really like it, and I really like the two tones. I also flattened out the spine a little bit so you can spark a fair CM rod. Doesn't work that well with the steel, but at least now it's sparked without using the blade. I think that's really important. Sorry about that. I really love this knife though. It's a great knife. I got like that 1,100 pound, you know, double paracord stuff through here. It's super tough to make a lanyard. That shit ain't gonna break for almost anything. And I've used the hell out of this knife for all sorts of crap. I've really put it through works, and I'm sure you can see that by, like, you know, some of like the wear, and you know, I've done a lot with this knife, but I love it. Like, that's what makes it so cool, in my opinion, is that it can just take all that abuse. This and its big brother, the BK9, which I did my last review on, are just excellent beastly type knives. And sure, they're not perfect at intricate carving or whatever, but you can, I mean, there's almost nothing you can't do with it. Take those handles off and use that as an axe, or you just don't have to worry about breaking it. Whereas with the other delicate ones, yeah, they're great, you know, your $300, $500 knife or whatever. That's all fine and dandy, but, you know, truth be told, I'd rather have a knife that I'm not afraid of breaking and I can use at any time than to have a knife that I'm always afraid to break and never want to use it, you know, and I have both, and so I can say that unequivocally I'd want, you know, the one that's more useful, right? It can do all the same shit and you're not afraid to use it or break it, and that's halfway what makes it so damn cool. And that's the way I feel about the BK2. Anyone who wants a cool knife, about $80 for, you know, a good, I mean, you could use it for anything. hunting, survival, camping, everything. Just a great blade. And I've never seen one break. 1/4 inch thick. You ain't breaking that shit, dog. Good luck with that. Even the tip. Like, the only thing I wish is sort of that you could get one of these in a tanto, a legit tanto with, like, it goes perfectly straight. It's not drop point like this is. Perfectly straight, and then just one angle all the way down. 2 edges, perfectly straight. Legit tanto, 1/4 inch thick. Because then you'd have one of the strongest knives combined with the strongest tip available. The tanto point is, without a doubt, the strongest form of tip. You see, if they wouldn't have ground out this drop point part right here, the steel would be thicker coming back here if the point was up here. The steel would be thicker, because as they grind in there, they're grinding into the narrow part. And that's the inherent flaw in a lot of knife tips. But you don't get that in a tanto, a true tanto. Like, I have tantos that aren't true tantos. Let me show you the difference here. I've reviewed this knife before. But you see, it's a tanto, but instead of leaving the spine straight across, they made it a drop point right there. And because of that, they've thinned out the steel a little bit. Not only that, but then they put secondary bevels on there and thin that steel out even more. But they let it go thicker into the point, you know, which is cool. Keep that tip a little bit stronger. But I don't want them grinding away anything off the top of this knife, you know. I don't know if they think it looks cool. And this is a $200 knife right here. I've reviewed this before. Great knife, great switchblade. Really fast, springy. The only downside is you gotta keep that lock on it all the time. You know, but I would prefer a real legit tanto, more like a samurai sword, but my other, and I've reviewed this one too, had some change in there. But you can see they thinned out the top of this one a little bit as well. See that? The little bevel they put on there. But once again, at least they left it thick at the point. So if you see the point, it gets pretty thick there before it thins down. So at least they understand that that's what's giving it its strength. But it's a really great tip, and I think that's the best. That's the reason I'll almost always choose tantos. Yeah, but that's about all I have to say. Like, the only thing that the BK could do better is make a tanto version, a legit tanto version. That would be amazing. But that's it. Till next time, I'm Socrates. Thank you. Peace.